Good evening, everyone. I'm White Benavides, President of IARC Philippines Chapter, and one of the anchors for this season of the RFC Tuesday podcast. I'm welcoming everyone to the first episode of our seventh season. Joining me is my co-anchor and fellow RFC, Andre Obieres, joining us from Cebu Province. Hello, Andre. Welcome back to the RFC Tuesday podcast. We missed you during the last few seasons, and we're all glad that you're back.
Hey, good evening, everyone. And I'm happy to be back for season 7. It was a relatively brief hiatus, but I'm just really happy to be back. This season will not, it wouldn't have been possible without the partnership of the IARFC and the ever supportive public relations officer, Ms. Susan Kappa. Hi, Susan. Before we start, all right, so let's thank the IARFC-PH, the Philippine chapter of the International Association of Registered Financial Consultants, for putting together this podcast. The IARFC-PH is an association dedicated to the craft of financial consulting. And the association is the sole organization authorized to conduct the RFC conversion courses, as well as continuing education in the field of financial consulting.
For Season 7, we have prepared for you, dear RFCs, a list of powerhouse guest speakers who have made a mark in the financial planning industry and raising their practices to a higher level through continuing education and ensuring financial planning legacy. So join us. Expect to hear from passionate financial consultants, veterans in the industry, consistent MDRTs, TOTs, who are also speakers, writers, and philanthropists. And to start this season 7, our guest episode for episode 1 is none other than the Can family RFCs, who are the prime movers of 1706 advisors. But let's listen to them and this little trivia as to why they named their family company 1706 Advisors.
About 1706, I'm sure our members would like to know, is that it's a third generation business, with the personal service of a family-owned company and the extensive resources of a large enterprise. So Stacy Kahn founded the firm way back in 1994 as Lang Financial Group to carry on the insurance tradition she learned from her father. So really, there's a long legacy here. And Stacy's daughters, Kara Khan and Alana Khan, they're the CEO and president, respectively, are leading the company into the future under the new 1706 Advisor name. And in this episode, we shall basically cover 3 general, topics: women in financial services, flexibility as a career, and adaptivity in the family business.
To start this episode, let us all welcome Stacy Kahn and her daughter, Kara. Ladies, welcome. And it's great to see you and to have you in our Tuesday podcast. So to start off, please tell us something about yourselves. We can start off with Stacy.
Well, I am the founder and chief resolution officer of 1706 Advisors. I have led the growth over the last 30 years and actually learned the business from my father, Stan Lang, who was in the business for 60 years. Grew up in Cincinnati and moved to Chicago, where I opened Lang Financial, which was our name until we rebranded in November of last year. And I learned from him how important it was to listen and care about people as you went through your journey of life. In the capacity today, I'm really the visionary and the leader of the firm, having a passion of almost 40 years in the business. And I believe our job is to strategically listen and help people solve problems. Graduated with a degree, risk and insurance from the University of Wisconsin. School of Business and became a chartered life underwriter probably 30 years ago. And now I am turning over the business as we move forward to my daughter, Cara, and her younger sister, Alana Khan.
Okay, and how about you, Karen?
Yeah, so thanks for having us. I'm the Chief Executive Officer of now 1706 Advisors. So really my job is I work closely with the CEO, CFO, COOs, and HR directors of companies, and I really focus on the employee benefit experience. We both really believe in just helping people. And we've noticed that we can help people through different financial tools. So we use our employee benefits, we use different insurance products, and then we use our knowledge as being RFCs.
Okay, Stacy, you mentioned that you started the firm with uh, with the help or inspired by your father. Can you tell us more about that? How how did he inspire you? How was he, and how did he guide you through the early days?
Sure. Well, I started as a youngster just getting out of college, undergrad, and moved to a new city and had a degree in risk and insurance, but really didn't understand what that meant. Talking to people about planning and making sure that the holes they had could be fit or the solution could be insurance. So what I learned from him is every night I would come home and we would talk about each case I was working on, how to manage the person in front of me to be able to do the best job I could, and learning how to treat people well by listening to their problems, asking questions that were pertinent to them, and coming back with recommendations that could help their families and their businesses over time. Not necessarily all insurance products, but also associations that I had with other people that were experts in different parts of back-end businesses to be able to help them choose people that could really be part of their team as they grew businesses.
Oh, that's great. How about Kara? Your background is more in marketing and entrepreneurship, right? So
Yeah,
how did it help you uh, integrate that as the family business grew?
yeah. So it's funny, when I graduated college, I never was sure what I wanted to do. And I had taken some jobs and I never really liked them, but I saw over time, I saw the flexibility my mom Stacy could have. And I was like,
Mm.
oh, she works hard, she makes a good living, and she has flexibility. I never understood the strength of those three things until I started working. So I was able to join her when the Affordable Care Act came out in the US. And I said, I don't know anything, but I think a lot's changing in your industry. Can I join? So it was just one of those things where I took a leap. She took a leap on me as well. And we were able to focus and really grow a business together. And for our first time ever, I saw what she was able to do, those 20 something years as I was growing up.
Mhm. So in terms of um, the dynamics. It's very hard, right, to be working with family because you have to separate your professional relationship and your family relationship. How was it with you guys? Was it difficult, or was it just a natural uh, offshoot of the relationship at home?
Uh, it was not natural. It was a lot of hard work and focus and deciding on what we wanted our lives to look like, both personally with each other, professionally with each other, and then keeping a family dynamic alive and well. So it took a lot of time on learning how to set the correct boundaries with each other. It took time understanding each other's cues, and not the cues as a mother or daughter or sisters or friends, but the cues of having a professional relationship as well. So we've spent a lot of time working on working together in every different aspects of our relationship. So what we've learned is we have to be very open and honest in conversation. We need to have conversation where critiquing the good, the bad, the ugly could happen. And so a lot of people always will ask us, well, how did you do it? It was practice. It was all practice. One thing we're all really good at is talking. So that was helpful because it made us, we were able to sit there and set ground rules with each other. And the ground rules were like, don't get offended when I tell you something you did wrong. Let's talk about what we want our boundaries to look like. And all of our boundaries are a little different. And so we had to learn how to communicate those boundaries with each other. And it was just something we figured out over years on our own.
There's a couple things. I think having my daughters walk into the business and setting those boundaries is paramount to having a company that can grow over time and have an open communication.
Yeah.
I was a person for the last almost 40 years that breathed, ate, slept insurance. Like I think all of us do. And planning. So, being an RFC and thinking all the time about how to help people and move assets around. And my daughters said, enough is enough. We can't always be talking about it on weekends. Those boundaries, Sundays are a day we don't talk business. We talk about family and love and our goals, but not business. Yeah. And it's interesting because when I look back, when we were, I'm going to say, having a bumpy road, I did hire someone to help me deal with my daughters and that dark line that they had. And I think the dark line really started with the business has to stand on its own. No one over the last 30 years today or ever will be able to rock that boat and put that business in a situation that is rocky and not solid. And I was always very careful to say, you're welcome to be in if you're in and you're focused and you're thoughtful and you want us to grow and care for this dynamic, I'm going to call it its own animal, its own thing, this business. Or you're happy to leave. You can leave. I'll love you anyway. But very important for me to protect the business. And there were times where I might have been more a boss than a mother. And I did have to have someone say to me, as my daughter, my younger one, was really thinking about whether she should stay in our business or move to another city. She was not prepared to work on her own at that point. This is, only a couple years in the business. And I was very content that she could stay and work with us, or she could leave and just be my daughter, but I wasn't going to put the business in jeopardy. So I had to have someone say to me, let her go, let her do what she needs to do. And I said, you're right. But they had to enforce that in my brain because I'm all in 150%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, working with family is requires a lot of well, a lot of everything, but most of all, a lot of love because you have to think of more than yourself, right? But to think of the family and think of each other so that every decision, every action you take is for everyone, not just for yourself. So I guess that's the reality we have to face when working with family.
Exactly. Exactly.
I also think working with employees, it's really
Yeah.
the same thing. I mean, their lives depend on us as the business owner, and the decisions we make impact them and their families also. So
Yeah.
we don't take that lightly as we bring people in to help us grow and understand that the decisions we make affect them too. So we're very careful in how we make decisions, hopefully effectively, and looking at it with care.
That's something that's a very good insight because like the learnings you have with working together now plays an important role in forming how the relationship within the business also comes about, right? So it's the same principles, the same values, the same level of care you have with each other as family members. Now you expand to the business with your employees and hopefully also with the same intensity and the same values that are also put forward when you relate to your clients, right?
Exactly. It's all, everything we do, it really doesn't matter what facet of our life we're looking at. We want to do it in a way that's thoughtful. There's a level of care to it. There's a level of, when it comes to spending of money, in a careful, focused manner, understanding how hard it is to make the money. And we want to make sure people feel taken care of. If people feel taken care of in everything that we do, it allows them to have success in everything else. It's just a foundation. So I tell people, when we've done our job really well, that foundation's really strong and you shouldn't even know it's there. It just kind of happens. And when that foundation happens, everything else has the ability to succeed.
But it's intentional, Cara. I mean,
Extremely intentional.
It doesn't just happen. It's us planting the seeds, as we all know. And eventually those seeds do grow. And when people hear again and again how good planning really does allow them choices later in life,
Yeah.
they begin to listen because they start to see that they can breathe and do fun things in their life and not have to worry about what makes all of us tick, which is money and planning and taking care of our families.
Yeah, so before we, go too deep into the business side, I actually got quite curious about, like I know you got Stacy, I know you got a degree in risk and insurance. So if for the benefit of our members and myself, because I'm actually quite curious, how did you get into this side of financial services? Because I mean, there's like finance is pretty broad. Like Boyet is in trust banking. I'm in portfolio management. So why did you get into this side of financial services?
Well, I followed my father, so we'll
Hmm.
start there. Every day
Okay.
he came home and talked about clients. Um, it was weirdly lucky that I ended up going to the University of Wisconsin, and they had this risk and insurance major, which was not what you saw across the country in the United States for sure. I think there might
For
have
sure.
been 5 universities. And I started taking classes and understood that building that solution-driven model, which I think all of us do, whether it's whatever financial lever we are all pulling to help our clients. I loved insurance. I loved getting deep. And initially it was just, I worked for New York Life. So it was life insurance and disability insurance. They didn't even have long-term care then, which goes back a long time. And I realized I could really help people by asking the right questions.
Right. Cool. So I guess this is how, like that transition because you started with your dad, and then insurance. So, can you tell us more about your business? Like, uh, what's the story and the name behind 1706? Did I say it correctly? 1706
Yep.
Advisors. Um, and what services do you provide? So basically, tell us the story behind the company.
Yeah. So we decided to do a complete rebrand of our company. It probably was, let's call it February of 2022. We all looked at each other and we said, I think it's time to do a rebrand for two big reasons. The first is we're going into this next generation of business with my sister and I really leading the way. And then the second part was we wanted to make sure we had a name that was really inclusive to everyone around us. And we didn't want the name to have anything to do with us personally because we want 1706 to be a place that like people can come together and we can build a company together and help people together. And it's not just a family leading the way that everyone else just kind of works for. We want us all to feel and be on the same playing field so that we can help. So after a lot of soul searching and trying to figure out what our name was going to be, we finally landed on 1706 Advisors. And so what 1706 is it's the year that Benjamin Franklin was born, and he's known as the father of American insurance. So we are like, oh, it sounds cool. It has a really great meaning behind it because what we want to do is we want to protect people. We want to protect people. We want to protect businesses. We want to protect individuals and families at everyone's different stages of their life cycle. So it came a time where like that really describes who we are. And it was all just a part of this big rebrand and the big push. And so a lot of what we do, we say it sits in kind of 3 silos. One of our silos is we are employee benefits consultants. So we help companies on every aspect of the employee benefit journey, except for retirement planning. So it's all really those insurance products. But then we also are really spending a lot of time with them there on culture building and making sure they're hitting their budgetary requirements. So it's all about, again, building that foundation of the business so that your people can help it grow. And then our second silo is we know that the key stakeholders in a business are the most important people in keeping the strategic essence of a business going. So we work with business owners and key stakeholders to make sure that they're protected. And that's where we're using insurance products, and it's the life insurance and disability insurance and all the million different ways that you can use it. And then our third silo is those key people, we need to make sure their families are taken care of. We know that if something happens with the family, it affects the business. When something happens with the business, it affects the family. So our whole idea is, how do we have this holistic planning? And it just so happens that our part of our holistic planning are the insurance products.
Wow. So, the thing with uh insurance is that, like, it's not something the average person would have like the idea of, oh yeah, I want to go into insurance, right? You know what I mean? So, could you tell us, what attracted you to the business? Because yeah, you said there was a change with the Affordable Care Act, but like, how did you get into the business, Cara? Like, and when did you actually join?
Yeah. So I don't think anyone wakes up one morning and says,
Yeah,
wow, I really want to sell insurance today.
exactly.
Yes.
I mean, what you do, right? They would say it's a sexier thing if you're doing portfolio management versus
Yeah.
insurance. I always say, I'm like, not sure what you mean by that, but we'll learn it. Insurance is just a way of helping people. It's my day to day is talking through with someone, what do they want their culture to look like? What do they want their culture to feel like? What are their values? What's their mission? Do they actually mean that they want to withhold their values and their mission? Because to do that, you need to support people in that way. So I get to talk with business owners and individuals just about what they love, how they love it, and why they want to do what they do. And I say to them, my hope is we do all of this planning, we set really strong foundations, and then everything else you can work on just starts happening because of it. We'll help you with the back end. We can be some of your muscle there. We'll keep the strategy going, but let us focus on what we know, which is the insurance side and this consulting that happens with it. And you do what you're good at. And together you have the ability, we can help you grow, and hopefully you help us grow, because it's a two-way street. So how did I get into insurance? Truly, I was at a job I didn't love, and it was another family business. And in that business, this family had like 20 members in it. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of family here. Okay,
Yeah.
over time, I started to kind of get what was going on. And then in the back of my head, I was thinking, I don't love what I'm doing. I don't really know what I want to do. And Stacy had worked with a life balance coach for, I don't know, 20 years at that point. And it was someone that we knew personally as well. So I called up her life balance coach, Leo, and I said, Leo, I don't know what I want to do. And he said, okay, Cara, I want you to make a list of what you want out of a job. So I created this whole list and I sent it to him, and he said, okay, let's talk through the list now. We talked through it, and he goes, I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear. I think you want to go into the insurance business. And I said, Leo, you are wrong. I do not want to go into the insurance business. And he goes, let's start over and let's talk about really what you want again. What you want is, you want to make money, you want some flexibility, you want to help people. He goes, Cara, that's the insurance business. So I fought him a little along the way. And then through our discussions, I said, oh my God, you're right. I think I want to join the insurance business. And it just so happened it was perfect timing because the Affordable Care Act was coming out. And Stacy needed help on her account management side for her employee benefits division. And it was the perfect time for someone green to walk in, because all of a sudden everyone was green. So it was a perfect timing piece. And then for my sister, who's our other partner, she's a few years younger than me. And she, I think, always knew a little more that she wanted to be in the insurance business because she saw the people side of it and helping and meeting people, and she liked it. And so she goes, well, if you join it, is there going to be room for me? And we were like, there is always room for more smart people. So she joined actually right out of college. And then from there, we like, before we even did our rebrand on our name, we did a complete rebrand and reworking of our entire back end operations. So again, we are building our own foundation piece by piece over the years. It was our operation foundation, and then it was our people foundation. And then we got to, the cooler part, which is the brand change and the rebranding. And now we're in this really beautiful upward force to really get us to that next level of meeting more people, helping more people, and doing what we all really love.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, I've been thinking, you're the CEO of the business. So I want to ask Stacy this question. So, Stacy, could you tell us how, you know, you're the company leader, you're the leader, you're the chief resolutions officer. Could you tell us more about this? And could you also explain how Alana fits into the picture?
Sure. Truly, I had an epiphany last week. So this is good timing on, who, what, and where I should be in order to drive this business forward. For the last 39 years, I've sold insurance. That's what I've done. So I go out, I look for qualified leads, people that I think I would like to do business with. It's not everyone, as we all know, because we demand respect for the work we do. And that is not everyone that gives us that, as we all know. And we're lucky enough at this point in our business that we can pick and choose people that can help us grow. I think that the process that I need to take moving forward, because we've put a lot of additional growth pieces in place over the last 5 months, and those growth pieces involve taking our CRM, building it out even tighter than it already was regarding outreach to new prospects and clients. And as they move through our funnel, having sequencing and nurturing campaigns, if they're not ready to buy today, to make sure that we can connect with them over the next 6, 12, 18, 24 months and try to bring them into our circle over time. So how do we do that is by ingratiating ourselves through thought leadership and collateral. That demands having a very tight technological system. It also demands, which we have never done before, bringing in a business developer. I mean, we are all business developers, but we also run a business. So we wear a lot of different hats during the day, looking for someone that only hat that they have is picking up the phone, making calls, and seeing if we can rustle the leaves on the trees. We have never done that before. All of our business is basically grown through observation, people we want to do business with, networking, and referrals. I'm a crazy referral person. When we do a good job, I ask people, you love the process, you think we've done a good job, we want to meet people that are like you. And I sit and I shut up and I wait till I get a referral. It's the name of the game in our business. People, through word of mouth, that's the best way we can grow our business. But I also realize that once you have some money in the bank, it can't be all organic. It also needs to be pushing out as the engine gets bigger. So we are spending money and time on, has to do with that messaging, our new messaging of 1706. So I'm taking the lead on that, as well as more mentoring of our people. Because I do believe, as I listen to Cara and Alana, as leads are coming in our door, as they're going out and touching the flesh, making the handshakes, the networking, that they have it. And it's time for me to step back in that way, take that higher level view, because I've already done all of this. I'm a little tired on that piece, and helping them drive forward by learning and thinking and mentoring. And they're there. And we are always looking, like Cara said, for really smart people. And as we go through our journey of networking, I have a couple people in mind that should join us. And we had one yesterday, and the question he asked was, this is a family business. Do I really have a place? And the answer is, we've made a place by our rebrand, by the way we don't want it just to be a family business. We believe we can be bigger than that. And that's over time finding the right people that can buy stock in our business, because we don't want it to be that small. We think our message and our words of wisdom are really unusual. The way we talk about holistic planning, not just being so focused, but really thinking about how we can help that person, that business. And even if it's not with our expertise, connecting them with other people. And I think that's unusual. If our mission and our vision, we can move forward that way. That's my job in the next 10 years.
All right. So, you know, you actually mentioned something about the transition, right? From a family business to something bigger. So, how would that change the dynamic? You know, from because I can really feel that you two have a great family dynamic going, which you know I could basically feel that, and I'm pretty sure our members would also like to understand how how that would change from a family type business to bringing in outsiders, and how that basically would work out.
So we've always had other people in our business. Like no one wants me to touch some of like this fine detail work on the employee benefits side, because my team can do it so much better. So we've always had other people. Our goal is just to continue to grow the other people and bring in new bodies just to sustain the growth. Do I think things will change as we bring people in? I do. And I think one of the biggest changes will be there's going to be more intentionality to the roles that we have. So right now, and I think anyone knows this, whether you're a family business or not, you're just a smaller business, you wear a million different hats. I think if we can continue to scale in the fashion that we want, all of us are going to be able to be so much more intentional in the time we have during the day and in the job that we are doing. And that will then, I think, just make such a big difference, not only internally to everyone as we're working together, but also to our clients. If we really have the ability to focus even harder on the things we're really passionate about and the things we're really good at, it only helps people. So how we're going to do it, we need to be again, it's all about intentionality. We have to be bringing in the right people to do the right things. And we need to bring in the right people to help us on what we are not good at, or what we just don't have a passion for. And if everyone can focus on their passion, good things just start happening.
So we discussed about like your individual careers, how you came together, how the family business started. So how did you connect with the Association of Registered Financial Consultants, and how did it enhance your like the way that you handle your clients and your family business moving forward?
I think that we were lucky enough a number of years ago to join and look at the ethics that goes along with being a registered financial consultant. And the IARFC really has laid out, I think, clearly what is important in having the ethical standards to help people. And so that's where it began. And after I realized the amount of education that was necessary to do that well, I felt that that was necessary for each person that is out speaking with people to also join. And that's how Cara and Alana became part of the organization as well.
And I think all of our businesses and just the financial consultant world, whatever facet you're in, they're all very lonely if you don't have other people to have discussions with. I always say these businesses, you're isolated. You sit on an island because people's fear can be, I don't want to tell someone something because they're going to try to take my client. Well, if you have a group of people and you all agree on what your rules are, the ethics, and how you can help each other, you can help it. You can actually help each other. And so that's where we've seen a lot of different associations, including the IARFC, that if you can help someone and there's a way to get off that island, it makes you more successful. And it makes you more successful personally because you know more. And you have people to go to when there's questions. You have a resource.
So it's all about building communities that help each other and that support each other in serving our clients, right? So what advice would you give for like financial advisors or financial consultants who either want to put together something that's with their family, or for financial advisors who want to join a family oriented or family corporation, family advisory company?
Yeah. I think you first personally need to decide what you want your life to look like. And what do you want it to look like personally, professionally, and then in that family-oriented realm. If you feel that you can be with a family or join a family established business, you need to make sure that you have the ability to set your boundaries, that the boundaries can be respected, and that there's a track or a guide that you're going to use to keep the relationships healthy. I think we see a lot of family businesses, it doesn't matter what industry they're in, that if they don't have a track to run on or they haven't established the boundaries, the relationships deteriorate over time. But we all know, between myself, my mom, and my sister, we all know what our goal is, and we have a shared common goal. And that's the first key, is having the shared common goal and then setting our boundaries on how we're going to get to that goal. And then respecting each other's boundaries on those goals. And if you can do that, I think you can have success. But that's where you need to start. And you need to understand also that the business needs to stand on its own. Not one person is bigger than the business. Not one person can dictate how the business is going to breathe and have life, because everyone together needs to be working towards the commonality of the business.
Okay, so since we're running out of time, both of you have shared great insights. I just want to ask something a bit more about the daily life. So how does a day in the life look like for Stacy and Cara?
Well, I'll start.
Right.
My day parts. I have two dogs. I get up. So this is where my balance in life comes in. I make sure that I get out, whether it's rain, sleet, snow, or shine, which we have in our part of the world. We walk our dogs, my husband and I. We've been married 36 years. So we take that time together. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we walk. It just depends on the day. And then I sit down and we begin our days. I do not mix a lot of personal into my days. I'm not talking to my friends during the day. We're on the phone. So we're blocking off time for prospecting. We're blocking off time for us communicating on projects that are being worked on. We're trying to get much tighter on blocking that time and not letting anyone in. And we end the day with checking off tasks, finishing the day by responding to the people that we've touched and getting set up for the next day and looking truly at our KPIs on a regular basis. Are we making enough calls? Are we touching enough people? What do those calls look like? And looking at our deal flows. So we're spending a lot of time looking at our activities because we all know we can be busy during the day and not make a dollar, or we can be busy during the day and doing what we need to do in order to make a living. And we're focused. I've always been focused on what's in the pipeline. Watching, because everything else doesn't mean anything if you don't have a pipeline.
Yeah. And my day has changed drastically over the last 6 months. So since I've had a baby, my day starts very early in the morning because he likes to get up very early in the morning. But at that same piece, I like to have some flexibility now with him and making sure he's taken care of and his day gets started the way that I want mine to. So we take a very long walk. He hopefully takes a nap so that I can sit down and start working. And I try to be very intentional and focused. I like to start my days by meeting with my team. I like going through a hot list. What's the good, the bad, and the ugly? What do we expect the good, the bad, and the ugly to be? And are we on track with our timetables? Because on the employee benefits side, it is all about the deadline. So it's a hamster wheel, and that's a big part of it. And then it's just focusing, talking with my clients, hearing what their problems are, hearing what their successes have been, hearing where their goals are. And then from there, kind of just runs the gamut of where people need help, where they need assistance, and where they need some consulting. And then I really like to end my day of looking, did we get everything done that we needed to, or what goes back on the hot list again for the morning? And it's all about, I want my team to have good work-life balance. And so that's something I personally have to work on myself, just to make sure. I know if I have good work-life balance, I can help my clients more, I can help my team more, I can help the rest of the people in our organization more. And that's just like a big focus of what our day looks like. So we try to kind of set our own examples there.
What, for both of you, okay, what makes you feel fulfilled at the end of the day?
I think for me, it's knowing that I helped someone. I hope I made someone uncomfortable so that they're willing to take action and make change. I don't want someone just to say okay and move forward. I want to make an impact. An impact usually comes from some form of uncomfort. And I want to make sure everyone in my team walks away and saying, wow, I did something to help someone today. Or wow, I finally feel fulfilled and I'm really taking life by the horns on a professional manner.
At the end of the day, I think it's very much really what Cara said. I want to make sure that we've helped people, but in a very strategic, thoughtful way. So that's a matter of making sure we're asking the right questions. We're really listening. We're not trying to fill a round hole with a square peg, which a lot of people will do. They're going to push a product. No product pushing. It's really about listening and understanding what that person needs, even though they don't, to make their life more fruitful. And that's what I've done for 40 years. I do believe when people walk away from us, they've been put in a better situation than when they walk through that door coming in.
Thank you very much, Stacy and Kara, for being our honored guests tonight on the first episode of RFC Tuesday podcast season 7, together with our international partners. You have definitely inspired us tonight with your financial planning heritage that you have successfully built for your family. So thank you very much. We hope that our viewers, our members would be enlightened by your experience and the way that your family has are helping other people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Please look forward to the episode 2 of the RFC Tuesday podcast, where we will discuss RFC as top of mind with David Kinder. If you have questions on tonight's topic, please feel free to send it in the chat box, which we will review prior to the next episode. For RFC public courses and continuing education, trainings, and seminars, please visit the IARFCPH FB page for announcements of schedules. Reminder for members who are active, please join our continuing education seminars. Access to the official IARFC website, www.iarfc.org, where each member of good standing is recognized when searched by clients and prospects. And please do be reminded that we can only use the RFC designation if we are members of good standing. So if you have any inquiries or for renewal, please contact Ms. Arlene Baguyo at iarfcph@gmail.com or 0917-645-7846. So contact the IARFCPH now for your membership renewals.
Our podcast episodes are shown every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. That is why it's important for you to follow us on Facebook. Episodes are pre-recorded and are streamed through Facebook Live and the IARFC Philippines YouTube channel. So on behalf of our executive producer, Ms. Grace De Vera Escobar, this is the RFC Tuesday podcast saying,
It is better to be in the know
than to be the last to know.
have a great evening, everyone. We hope to see you again 2 weeks from now for our next episode of our regular Tuesday podcast.
Good evening, everyone, and see you next time.